Hello and welcome everyone to this webinar about EvoEstate and InRento merger. So today I'm going to give a short presentation and answer some of the questions we have already received. And also we are going to address your questions that you will ask during this webinar. So in case you have any questions, feel free to write them at the Zoom platform. You can address them to the panelists and we will receive them. So why don't we just go and start the webinar. So first I would like to talk about the numbers. So EvoEstate has achieved some great numbers if we're talking about milestones. It didn't only became the first crowdfunding aggregator platform or marketplace, in other words, but it also certainly was the biggest. So what EvoEstate has managed to do in the last couple of years is to grow the community of almost 7,000 investors, out of which 2,500 still remain active, listed 100 skin in the game projects and funded over 10 million euros worth of loans. Then let's look at the numbers of InRento. So InRento is obviously younger, and in the first year of its operations, it has managed to attract an investors community of over 5,000 investors. The average rental yield was above 7%. And here I would like to emphasize the word rental yield, because as you may already know, the return on InRento comprises of both rental income and capital gains. So yet we still haven't, yet the projects on InRento still haven't been sold. So the number that you're seeing here today is only from rental yield. So what we are expecting as the time goes by is also that some additional return will add to the rental yield that we have today. We have also financed close to 3 million euros worth of loans, or in the context of this webinar, probably the better word would be originated, and 0 projects and 0 euros worth of projects ended up late. So I'm in particular excited about this merger because after it, now we are able, claim that we have the investors community of already above 10,000 people, and soon our active investors will reach 3,000, and the amount collectively funded by InRento and EvoEstate has exceeded 13 million. These are all great news, not only for us, but also for the investors, because with such a growth and synergy between our companies, we will be able to finance larger investment opportunities when it comes to InRento. And obviously, we can also have the possibility to offer higher investment grade opportunities as well. So the key benefits of you coming as an Evo investor and becoming a user of InRento is the first ones are the most obvious. InRento is first and only licensed buy-to-let crowdfunding platform in Europe. So basically, maybe there are some other alternatives, that other originators that provide buy-to-let investment opportunities, but the key difference with InRento is that InRento is regulated and licensed. So basically, what it means that there is no supervisory or whatsoever with the other originators. Another aspect is that when you invest via InRento, all your funds are fully separated from us or the borrower, meaning that when you invest on InRento, you get a personal bank account, which is open at one of our payment provider partners platforms, so either Paysara or MangoPay, and you invest the money from those accounts. InRento, until today, has been offering investment opportunities with higher minimum investment ticket. So basically, if you wanted to invest on InRento directly, before you had to invest 500 euros per investment opportunity. Because we know that this merger is a big step, not only for us, but also for you as well. We wanted to offer the best or one of the best investment benefits for the investors. So naturally, we wanted to even the differences and provide minimum investment opportunity and don't change it from what you already had on EvoEstate. The other thing is cashback. So there was some information written in the email, but let me repeat. So basically, when you will invest on InRento, you will get a cashback of 1.5% during the first year, meaning that if you invest 1,000 euros, you will get 15 euros back. And the second year, the cashback will be 1%. So if you invest 1,000 euros, you will get 10 euros. In last year, you will get 0.5% cashback, which will mean that if you invest 1,000 euros, you will get 5 euros. Our goal with this is also the same that before, for foreign investors, when you invested via EvoEstate, there was no tax withholding. Now the tax withholding will appear, and I will talk about it and introduce it a little bit later as we go through the slides. But I guess here, the most also important aspect that we understand that this merger may not be for everyone, and we really care about our investors, and we believe that from our standpoint, we must do everything in order for you to provide options that you could choose from. So if you don't find the InRento offering that attractive, you can sell your investments on EvoEstate secondary market and exit the platform. In this case, what we have done, we have reduced all the fees. So basically, there's no secondary market fee. So if you wanted to exit before, this would have cost you maybe 2%, but now you can exit EvoEstate without any secondary market fees. And the benefits of InRento, and I think how we really differ from the rest of the industry and what we really care about is that we want to take the most common investment type in Europe and make it even more accessible. So basically, all Europeans love real estate. It's I wouldn't say that people from Baltics love real estate or UK. More or less all Europeans love real estate, and in a lot of countries, people love to rent the apartments. But until someone actually does it, a lot of people don't understand how much of hassle there is in being a landlord. So basically, what we're trying to do, we are trying to provide you with all the benefits and all the good things that being a landlord brings to you, and taking all the bad things out of this process. So with InRento, you don't have to worry about the tenants, upkeep the property. What we do is that the project owner, and we assess the risk, we manage it, and we allow you to earn not only from rental income, but also from capital growth. So basically, when the property would be sold for profit, you will be able to earn additionally on top of your investment. I think what is really important to note that when you have InRento investment opportunities, you always see all the information about capital growth splits and basically the returns. It's being very transparent. So we don't add any fees. So we don't hide any fees, and it's very clear and easy to understand how much do we charge. In general, we don't charge the investors anything, except there are some regular costs as secondary market fee and capital growth, and we also take a part in capital growth. We do this not only from the standpoint that we want to improve our earnings and increase the income of the company, but also from this standpoint that we stick into the project till the end. So basically, we don't only care to finance it, but we really care that the project gets exited as expensive as possible. And because our interest with you, the investors, ourselves, and the capital and the project owner are aligned, meaning that we all head in the same direction. And the last thing, but not least, what we have just recently introduced, and we are planning to introduce even more as the time goes by, is the timeshare possibility. So this is more common in the US, I would say, but essentially what timeshare will enable you to do is not only to invest in those rental properties, but also get a chance to stay in them. So again, we are coming back to the same statement that I just opened, that feel like a landlord, just don't feel any hassle. So basically, we are planning to offer even more investment opportunities in Spain in particular, where we will offer more properties with timeshare possibilities, most of them being by the sea. And let's talk about taxes, because this is one of the questions that we have received a lot over the email. So we always answer them, but here it's like a short summary, which I think will help to clear things through. So basically, if you switch from EvoEstate and you become InRento user, doesn't matter whether you are a foreigner or Lithuanian national or business. If you made your investments before switching to InRento, it means that there will be no tax withholding. So in simple terms, if you used to earn 10 euro interest every month, so you will continue earning it. But for all the new investments which will take place after the merger, so when your account is being moved to InRento, when you make new investments, those new investments will have tax withholding, meaning that if you're a foreign resident, you will get a 15% tax withholding on earnings from interest. But here, I want to also emphasize that you will not get tax withholding for any late payments. So basically, if you earn capital from late penalties, that income will not be tax-free. Here, I want to also stop and clear a couple of things. First, we believe that for some investors, and we fully understand it will cause some hassle compared to the previous type of investment via EvoEstate. So for that particular reason, we decided, to issue the cashback. So for the first years, the cashback will sort of reduce the gap between the previous investment model and current. But additionally, I would like to also emphasize that Lithuania has double tax treaty exemption agreements with most of the countries. So if your country falls into double tax treaty exemption, it means that once you pay the tax in Lithuania, you can apply to not pay it again or pay only for the difference which is applicable to your own country. I am not an accountant and not a tax lawyer, so the best thing what you can do is look up by yourself or consult with professionals in your given country. But from my own personal experience and investing abroad, the double tax treaty exemption works. Only obviously you have to put in some thought to it. Then if we are talking about businesses, if you are a business client of EvoEstate and now you switch to InRento, there will not be any tax withholding. So you haven't been taxed before and you will not be moving into the future. And the last one is for Lithuanian residents. So for Lithuanian residents, we will not withhold any tax on your investments on interest earnings. But if you will make earnings from penalties of late payments, then a 15% tax withholding tax will be applied on those penalties. But when it comes to all those taxes, and this is more for Lithuanian residents, is that we will all report this and we will basically provide this to the tax inspection. So you don't have to do anything. If you before had to get a tax statement from EvoEstate, now you will not have to do it because we will report all those taxes directly to the tax authority. So for Lithuanian residents, the taxes will appear automatically add the annual accounts, personal accounts submission. And you know, initially I also briefly mentioned that when you will switch, you will have an option to open an account with one of our payments partners. So you will be able to find a lot of information on our website, which one to choose. But in a nutshell, I would say that if you are already a user of Paysera, so this is the quickest way to go. If you already own a Paysera account, it will take you, this sort of a switchment of accounts will take you only minutes, because you will just press connect your Paysera account and it will be done. If you don't have a Paysera account, the key difference between these two options is that if you open a Paysera account, it will be your standalone bank account. You can do whatever you want. You can choose to invest on InRento, but you can also choose to pay for your utilities or make money remittances. Similar to what you have with Revolut. You just open an account and you can use it. Whereas with MangoPay functionality is very limited. So you basically get a possibility to open an account on InRento platform, deposit money to the wallet, and then transfer those money from the wallet inside the projects. So there's sort of this second layer that comes on top compared to Paysera, because if you connect Paysera, you will get each monthly interest directly to your bank account. You don't need to press withdraw. The money is there. When you get payment to MangoPay, you will have the necessity to press withdraw. But on the other hand, you are the only one who can say which one is actually better for you. And there were also some concerns and questions about how will the withdrawal fees will be taxed on EvoEstate for the existing model. So for the existing model, current structure is that free withdrawal per month is free, but the second one costs €2. Moving into the future, we cannot say right now for certain, but there may be changes in this pricing. This is mainly due to the main reason that the service pricing that EvoEstate has on payments is changing. And because of the volume decrease, most likely all of these payment prices is going to increase. So, but if you choose to switch to InRento and open, for example, a Paysera account, you will not have any fees, and all your investments will be directly both interest and investments will be directly paid back to your Paysera account. This is a brief overview about how our merger plan is looking right now. So today we are at 7th of February. So we are doing a webinar where me and EvoEstate CEO Audrius will answer all your questions. Next week, we are going to get a second notification about the merger. And there you will have a possibility by a given date to opt out of the merger. If you don't opt out, you will be automatically transferred to InRento. And we are expecting to complete this by 1st of March. And until then, all of your investments will be still available on EvoEstate. But as in the next 24 months, we plan to fully merge these platforms. So basically, all your previous investment information and all the transactions are being reflected in InRento as well. However, here what I'm saying is that our current priority is completing the merger, and only then we will move to the transactions and all the information merging, which may take 2 years. And let's switch to the questions. I would like to introduce you right now to Audrius, who's here today with us.
Hello, my name is Audrius Visniauskas. I'm founder and CEO of EvoEstate.
So let's, without further ado, let's answer some of the questions, and the first two questions are for you, Audrius. So, Audrius, can you tell what is the real reason why EvoEstate is stopping aggregation after the merger?
The real reason. This is a very tough question, but I will try to answer it shortly. This hasn't been a decision made in a month, but was on our mind for the last 6 months already. From day one, we tried to make the best real estate crowdfunding platform where we wanted to put our investors' interest in the first place. And as aggregator grew, we were facing a lot of problems. And we have started to see that we do not deliver on our promise to be the best. Some reasons for this is that loan originators are like financial institutions, but not technology companies. And even to this day, we haven't made full integration of loan originators. Another important thing for investors is communication. And we couldn't force our loan originators to deliver this communication at the level that we desire. And that is requested and required by our customers. I believe that InRento could be #1 best real estate crowdfunding platform for investor. This is, I believe, this is the platform that I could recommend to my friends and family members.
Okay, thank you. There's another question right now. Andre is asking, I want to invest via good, sustainable, and reliable platforms. That is why I chose EvoEstate at the time. That now suddenly turns out to be not so good and sustainable after all. Now you have the choice to continue with the still young InRento. How good, sustainable, and reliable a choice for InRento? So I'll answer this question. My first question is, what makes you think that EvoEstate is not good or not sustainable? EvoEstate operations and business model is sustainable and it's being cash flow positive. But this is I think that what just Audrius answered, this one part of this merger is, the biggest part of this merger is not financial conditions, but it's about delivering the best product investors can have. When it comes to InRento and its abilities, to perform and be reliable, InRento is backed by institutional capital. InRento is also regulated by the Bank of Lithuania, which obviously requires us to comply with strict capital requirements. So it's not only anymore that, look, this business is being cash flow positive, but it's also being monitored how much money we have and whether this money pool that we have is sustainable, for the future. So that's one aspect. And additionally, you can look from this side as well. How sustainable is InRento? InRento, although it's small, during the last 2 years, it has acquired and merged 2 platforms, which have been longer in the industry. And as we move forward, we are going to continue doing this way, because what we're seeing today is that for us, this is a great way to grow. And I think that this is also a great way for the existing users and the investors on those platforms that we do mergers or acquisitions with, because we are able to provide them still very good conditions to invest. And we are also able to provide good investment opportunities. And our track record is proving that. So I hope this answers this question. And Luca is asking, the main advantage of Evo is that it pulls investment opportunities from different originators. This won't be the case with the new mergers. I don't think you can simply add up the investors. I'm not sure this is a question, but more of a statement. But what I can say that for Luca and for all investors who are here today is that sometimes, in all the situations, you cannot be good for everyone. And we understand this. And for that reason, we believed, as I already expressed in the webinar, that some people will not be happy. And that's perfectly fine. And we understand this. And for that reason, we are doing everything we can in order to make your life easier. And we are doing this first by reducing all the fees from the secondary market. So in case you want to exit, you have no fees and you're free to do so. And another way, we are also offering cashback. So if you decide to give it a shot and invest, you still get the best terms that anyone has ever had. And I'm talking that, no one, even the people who invest tens of thousands into a single property, they don't get the same terms that we have issued to all, the investors of EvoEstate. Andreas is asking, how will you take care of all my already running investments in the different platforms, different partners you had so far? So, Andreas, what is necessary to understand today and for the future as well, that EvoEstate is not going anywhere for time being. And EvoEstate has always delivered and is going to continue on delivering, protecting investors' interests. So if you made your investments in the past, they are going to be facilitated to you one way or another. What we are offering today, we are offering a simplified, a more secure account option where you can open an account at regulated licensed financial institutions, and all the funds will be facilitated directly to you. Then I hope I answered this question. If I don't, please always ask follow-up questions in the chat and we will go through them. Katrina is asking this question. Audrius, what are your future plans? Do you plan to remain in the company?
My future plans. I still don't have my future plans, but in my mind yet. But I'm still working at the company part-time in this transition merger moment, and I'll still be working for EvoEstate for a couple more months. And after that, most likely I will help my startup portfolio companies and probably do some real estate development in Spain.
Okay. More questions. Ernest is asking a question. You mentioned exit option of selling loans in secondary market. Would it be technically possible to transfer loans to the originator platforms, at least Lithuanian originators or some of the top originators, if we have the accounts there? So very good question. And we would like to say that we are working on the solution as well. So what we are doing right now with InRento, we are going and doing all this process right now, sort of between our companies. Once we complete this process and we have the exact structure and we have the technology already tested, we will offer this option for the investors as well. But with this option as well, the originators have to participate in it and sort of work. So if they cooperate and if they work, I believe this will not be an option, but obviously the investors themselves will also have to agree to it. What we're doing right now with InRento, we are collecting your consents or non-consents, non-participation. So in a similar way, alternatives can be offered as well with other originators as well. So we are working on this, and to summarize it, you will receive more information about this after the merge. So not so much information before March, but after March, you should receive more information. Then Luca is asking, what will happen to current investment after the 24 months time window? So Luca, the investments that you have, they are going to continue to pay interest and the principal repayment. So in 24 months, most of your investment opportunities are going to be repaid. The ones that are not going to be repaid are obviously on those where you made long-term investments. So the ones that are in InRento. But if you switch already to InRento, this will not be a problem to be concerned. So Evgeny Mana is asking, when will the tax withholding start? So basically, I will try to repeat and emphasize this again. It will not start, it will never start for the past investments you made. So meaning that those investments that you invested until now and you're going to invest on EvoEstate secondary market, meaning all the investments you subscribe on EvoEstate.com, not InRento.com, but EvoEstate.com, you will have zero tax withholding. Once you start investing on InRento.com, then is when it's going to, the tax withholding is going to start impact you, but only for the new investment opportunities. So meaning all of the investment opportunities that are on EvoEstate.com, you will not get tax withholding. But the ones that you're going to get on InRento.com, you're going to get tax withholding. Hope this answers. So Alexis is asking if I already have the account with EvoEstate. I asked them if I open with you and I will have one merge account. However, when I asked, you told me 2 accounts. What will be the case? For those, we understand and we realize that some of the users already have 2 accounts on both EvoEstate and InRento. So we will have a separate communication with you. So in the next notification that you're going to receive and the ones moving forward ahead, they will be more specific, meaning that the message that you receive will be based, for example, if you have an account with InRento or you don't have account. So it will be personalized and you will understand what is going to happen next. But if you made an investment both on InRento and EvoEstate, your accounts will be merged and you will be taken care of, in the sense that if you were an investor of InRento and you were also an investor of EvoEstate, you will still get the cashback of InRento. So meaning that we will not leave you behind if you are referring to this part of the question. So another question is also just like the one we just answered. So again, like the benefit, you will not lose the benefits if you already had an account. So Robin is asking, the question was, EvoEstate profitable and is InRento currently profitable? So if we talk about InRento, the question is not no, it's not profitable. And it's not planning to be profitable for at least 1 year, because InRento is growing. We are going to open new markets, and opening each new market costs a lot of money. So we are not going to sort of impose that we have to always be profitable, because then why do we raise institutional capital? Institutional capital is being raised in order to burn it and to increase our numbers and open new markets. So I believe that this year we are going to continue being non-profitable, second year also. But the thing is that if we wanted, we could be profitable, meaning that the income that we generate, it covers our operational costs. But I guess it's not the goal, to make 1,000 euros and call yourself profitable. It's sort of, you're being in more like cash flow positive, but still I think that when the company is so young, you need to you need to bend the iron when it's hot. We like to say here. And another question related to that, asked by the same person, is why should we believe InRento will manage previous investments from other originators? in the investor's interest, especially when so many are not in the game. So answer is very simple, and I want to correct that what we wrote in email and what I'm saying here right now is that InRento will not manage your investments. Your investments are going to be continue managed by EvoEstate. So what you're getting here is not that InRento is not taking over the all loan book, loan portfolio, outstanding investments there, but EvoEstate is going to continue to service them as it has already had in the past. The question is about the withdrawal fees, which may arrive. And for that reason, we are saying that if you switch, for example, to the SAR account, there will not be fees involved. Julian is asking, after the merger, the secondary market fee for Evo projects will still be lifted. So basically, EvoEstate secondary market is going to continue being free from today and onwards, and there will not be any fees related to exiting the platform. As we already expressed, we really care about the investors, and we don't want to create any burden for you if you want to exit. We understand that it's perfectly fine if you came for the aggregator and now you have an originator and you just don't like the product. It happens, but for that reason we understand this, and we are not going to charge you any fees. When it comes to InRento secondary market, InRento secondary market is going to be with fees. So InRento has a secondary market fee of 2% right now, and it's going to be, it will continue the same way. David is also asking whether we are recording this. So yes, this session is being recorded. So in case you only join now, or you missed part of it, you will be able to watch this. We will try to upload it. We hope everything will work fine. And we have another question about whether the InRento offer aggregation services, meaning Paul is asking which of the originators will be offered through InRento. So InRento, for time being, in the short term, will not offer any investment opportunities originated by other investors. So InRento will only offer what it has been offering until this point: buy-to-let crowdfunding opportunities originated by InRento. Federico is asking us, from an investor point of view, currently moving from EvoEstate to InRento implies a significant loss of diversification, both in terms of geographies and originators. What are InRento's plans to make for this, if any? I think that, well, first, InRento is growing and we are working on opening new markets as soon as possible. And we are going to make up partly about it, but not fully. And this is obvious. We are not going to say we are going to be better, more diversification. No. We really understand what kind of investment opportunities we want to originate. And those are the buy-to-let loans, buy-to-let investment opportunities. And we understand where we want them to originate. We have no intentions, and we don't want to go into farming finance, for example, tractor finance. We are not from this business. We are not from this background, and we see the opportunity elsewhere. Obviously, there are much more higher yielding investment opportunities, and maybe InRento return is too low for some, but you also need to factor in that in most of the InRento loans, borrower is paying lower interest than what he's getting from the rental income. So basically what you end up with is that you have much lower default risk, because if you go look for like business loan segment, or you look even the same farming finance, you look at sort of like this very broad investment offerings that you see today on crowdfunding, is that in most of the cases, you are not really sure where your money goes. Like you know that you're lending the money and this is the collateral. So, you see, for example, nice house in the suburb, but what does it actually mean? It means that, someone is taking a loan for his business or sort of doing some other project and he's putting this as a collateral. For some people, that is fine, but as I personally approach, InRento from an investor standpoint, I know for me, it's not fine. I want to know where my money will be used and how it will be used. And I want to know that my money will make money. So basically, I much rather have studio apartments in the city center or even the outskirts, doesn't really matter, but I'm sure what the return of rent will be, instead of, lending against some house or some other property without having no idea how it's going to be repaid and for what purpose I'm being, lending this money. And this is obviously, this is my personal understanding and this is my personal bias. And I understand that I am biased, but this is why I do InRento, and this is why I work so hard, in order to share my vision and passion towards this, what I'm doing, and open up these investment opportunities for you as well. What we had in the last couple of years hasn't, it's been very hectic, and most of the real estate, how we understand the rental markets and how they are operate, they have changed a lot. But I'm a big believer in short-term rent, and I believe that the market will recover, and we will offer even more investment opportunities with sort of orientated, for the Booking.com and Airbnb platforms where people can invest, and most importantly, also get the benefits of staying there with timeshare opportunities. So I would say that obviously the product of InRento is not for everyone, but it's for those who understand and know what they want. Andrew is asking, Gustas, how long will you stay active at InRento? Because that also makes InRento sustainable and reliable for me at the moment, or not? Well, I'm going to stay here for long. Just, one thing is that I feel I have this responsibility, but the second one that I obviously have, when I raise venture capital, I have, reverse vesting clauses. So even if I wanted to leave, this wouldn't be, this wouldn't make too much sense for me personally, financially. So besides my own personal motivation, there is also some financial aspect to it as well. The other question Luca is asking is that I have many non-InRento investments on EvoEstate that are 24 months. I'm not sure I understand the question, but I believe that it also refers back to the question, what will happen after these 2 years? To answer it more broadly and at the same time more specific, is that we are giving an indicative timeline. So basically, we are working on a lot of different solutions for the investors that would fit all of them. So more information will follow, and we will find specific structures and solutions that would benefit all of the investors. And for sure, not a single investor will be left behind during all this process. So we have a question, what will happen and what should we do with the auto invest? So do we have to set a new one, deactivate one in Evo? So basically, there will not be any new primary market investments, but besides InRento. So you can keep it, you can close it, but without InRento deals for time being, there will not be any new investment opportunities coming anytime soon. Okay. So how many people will be working at InRento? To what extent InRento is dependent on your presence, work? What happens if you drop out. InRento team currently consists of 16 people. That doesn't include Audrius. So now I should include Audrius as well. So well, welcome to the team, Audrius. So with Audrius, at least for a short time period, we will have 16 and a half or 17 people. So I think that, even if you have me today, it's becoming more of an organization than it is one person show. So I personally wouldn't be too concerned about that. We have a lot of questions, so if we don't answer them or you have some questions, so feel free. We will try, to go through of them, but there's a chance that we will just not be able to make it. So apologies in advance for that. There is one question about EvoEstate. So I've been talking for a while now. I'll let Audrius answer this question. So June is asking, did EvoEstate had any problems with licensing? Is this one of the reasons for closure?
No, EvoEstate didn't have problems with licensing, and we were thinking of getting a license and choosing a jurisdiction, but we didn't proceed with it because, we decided to do the merger, and yes, maybe I could tell that this was not a major reason, but this was one of the small reasons for closure.
Yes, and here I would also like to add on top is that what you have today with the upcoming EU regulation is that it regulates crowdfunding platforms, but EvoEstate is not a crowdfunding platform. So the regulation that comes in, it would and is not affecting EvoEstate business model as it is, because EvoEstate is a marketplace. However, it is affecting InRento business model. So InRento during this year will also become licensed with European license. So we have this in the pipeline and it's work in process. What we are doing, what will take some time for us is that we are also introducing a new product. So what you have today with InRento, there will be some other future products as well that you will be able to see. They will be a little bit different than what you have on EvoEstate. So I want to manage everyone's expectations that InRento will not suddenly begin, doing the same what EvoEstate was doing, but there will be certainly more innovation, I would say, not only on sort of regional level, but more like as a continent as a whole. And we really want to provide something new for the investors as well. So current Robin is asking how many new projects are listed each month on InRento. So it really depends. Sometimes there's one, sometimes there's three. What we're doing with InRento, we are not going for quantity, we're going for quality. And as the time goes by, I believe that we will not go in offering too many new deals. We are going to offer bigger size of it, because when you have small investment opportunities like other crowdfunding platforms do, problem with them is that you are competing. If you are, for example, landlord and investor who invests in rental properties, is that you are competing against everyone. Everyone can acquire an apartment for 200,000, 300,000. Doesn't matter if it's Spain or Lithuania or elsewhere. But not everyone can acquire a building, with multiple tenants. So where we are heading, I think that we are heading more into either buildings, if we're looking from commercial and office standpoint, and we are looking more to, if we're looking at something like residential, we are looking more at sort of portfolios. So we are looking how we could finance a package of properties like we recently did with this studios and we always do, and we enable, the project owners to consolidate their positions in buildings. And I believe that the size of the project will grow, but the number of projects, I'm not so sure that it will grow. And also, there is also a question about.
Andrea, I'll answer you shortly. I am good. And, as I wrote in my email, like, we put our investors' interest first, and Gustas is the man whom I trust completely to deliver on this goal. So, yes, I am affected, but I have full trust in Gustas.
Thank you, Audrius. So, David, thank you for the support, David, and Steve also as well. I appreciate your support. And Robin is also asking us, how does InRento make money? Is this cashback sustainable? So we make money as all crowdfunding platforms do. So we charge a financing fee. So basically, when we finance a property, we charge a fee to the borrower, but also we make some revenue as well from secondary market fees. And most importantly, which I want to emphasize in Rento is, the platform that sticks till the end. So we also earn from capital gains. So basically, when you will earn from capital gains, we will earn as well. So this is how our business model is based. We are not sort of going to this zero-sum game direction, or that I win if you lose. For example, that we also see with some platforms whose business model is heavily based on late penalty for elections. But our focus, is to create this win-win-win scenario where all the three parties win. And I'm very excited that already this quarter we are going to have first exits. So investors will be able, to see and understand that how investors make money on investing on InRento, and how InRento makes money as well from investments on InRento. So it will be all more clear. And answering the other part, is this sustainable? I would say that obviously yes, because as I told earlier, we could be cash flow positive, but it's just, there's no point in doing this at this point. I just feel that we have a great opportunity to create something different and unique. And at the same time, I feel that if there will be a situation where it will not be sustainable, and now we have alternatives, but when you don't have alternatives, you're just forced, to do actions that are necessary, in order to be sustainable. So I feel that today is the time for us to grow, and we should use this moment to that. But rest assured, we comply with the capital requirements, and at the same time, we are being regulated about how much money we have. So I think there shouldn't be any concern on that. And if you're referring about the particular cashback, cashback is going to be not sustainable for us. We already paid EvoEstate commission. So difference, and here I also want to be very clear, is that if for us as a company, we already paid EvoEstate this commission for aggregation. So for us, the new cost doesn't come up, but for investors get this benefit. So investors get tax withholding, but we get, to offer the investments directly to investors. So I feel that not somehow, but for sure, this is not going to cause us a problem. June is asking a question. I'm not sure if that's being asked for me or for Audrius, so let me read it. Were you and investors in your company satisfied with the results you had achieved since launch?
Is it to the company who owns EvoEstate and InRento?
I think that
could you specify the question?
while we wait, for the specification, we have a question about whether the originators have received negative responses and do you expect cooperation to decline? I mean, Robin, it's like we are not going to offer any new investment opportunities. So from that aspect, there is no sort of a cooperation, so to speak. But I would say that, people like originators will lose source of, investment. So for some originators, it will just become much more increasingly hard to finance their investment opportunities. So some of them obviously weren't too happy. I mean, would you be if you used to get sort of like a stable investment partner and now it's gone? So I think this is it. I think we answered all of the questions. In case we missed it, you can still write and we can try to answer them. And if investors' interests are to be the priority, then cashback and other incentives are less important to EvoEstate investors than the previous diversification across multiple originators. So do you seriously believe that EvoEstate investors will be satisfied? I would say that some yes, some no. And I believe that it really depends up to the person. But what we did from our standpoint is that even if if you're not happy and you don't want to use it, we give you all the opportunity to exit the platform without any fees and without any cost. So it's really up to you whether you like it or not. Maybe Audrius has something to add to this question.
No, I don't have anything to add. I can comment on the previous question. If we were satisfied with the financial result of EvoEstate, so as a founder, I can say if it's not a unicorn, we are not satisfied.
Yeah, I mean what I think is necessary also to understand about EvoEstate model in general is that the biggest winner in this situation is the investor. So if you analyze and look at EvoEstate model, the one who is actually winning is the investor, but the one who is paying is the originator, and this is not always a good solution for key reason that the value that you see may not be seen by other party as well, and this is what makes the business model so complex. And I think that when Audrius was answering this question about the communication with the originators, there are some concerns that some updates don't get posted in time and the originators disclose them quicker and all of these questions related to that. But this is obvious. Look, if for example, if the originator doesn't integrate, doesn't do the full-scale solution integration, and then at the same time, when he posts an update, he doesn't inform us, or he doesn't send an email, and this email or this communication does get left behind. There's not much EvoEstate could do in that situation. And I guess that the problem here is what we just said is that originators they don't earn more to communicate better, and basically the originators are also not incentivized to communicate. So in sort of always in these situations, we always felt bad that although the client is the investor, but the client who is paying is the originator. The client, we cannot, when continuing, the originators cannot take the value that is being created so seriously enough, that we could transmit this value to the investor as well. So Stefan is asking about the countries that we are planning to offer in InRento. So we are working right now on quite a few. We already launched Lithuania and Spain. We have some others in the pipeline, but I'm a not big fan of announcing things before they take place. So when I will have, or we as a team present new investment opportunities from new countries, we will be sure to present to them. But I want to have all the agreements signed, proper due diligence completed, in order we don't have to rush anywhere. Will InRento, Jens is also asking a question, will InRento pay more attention to its user friendliness in terms of statistics and news and etc. than EvoEstate in the future? So I would say that, first I would like to say that, EvoEstate has been doing statistics of like, I don't know, just how many, 15 platforms. So
more or less, yeah.
So, compiling data of that many sources is not easy. So this is in regards, to EvoEstate not performing all the way on the top of the level. When it comes to InRento, all the news and statistics and data, it's all transparent. You can easily see. And because, again, like what we're talking is that about InRento and its business model is that if you're concerned about news, for example, that, the project is late and, for example, this new is also late for you to arrive, this will not happen with InRento because you will be onboarded on originator. So InRento is originator and it communicates with you directly. There is no sort of lag or sort of reasons why the message should not reach you. So I would say it will be different, but it will be different not only because of this reason that you communicate directly, but also because when we care, to communicate, we don't need other party to care to communicate as well. So when the communication happens, it happens directly. June is asking one more question: is why did they leave Evo and why Audrius is not staying at InRento? So I will answer first, and then you can go. So from my personal standpoint, I just feel that, I personally, to be very frank with you, I feel that buy-to-let platform is a better solution than aggregator. And this is purely my personal standpoint. And I'm obviously biased to that. And my opinion may not resonate with others, but I just feel that this is the product which I want to invest, and I'm comfortable, to recommending it. For example, my friends, my family, to also invest. Whereas I feel that the product as EvoEstate, look, what we are talking about is that, for you as the investor, that some sort of news is being late causes so much hassle, and so much stress. Whereas in InRento, there are two main risks, I would say. First is that there will be no tenant and there will be no cash flow. And third is that the property will depreciate in value. So these are the two only risks that InRento as a company need to manage. And I think from that perspective, for me personally, I would consider myself experienced investor. I invest in multiple asset classes and multiple ticket sizes. I would still say that for me, risk-reward ratio that I get on InRento is nicer than I would by diversifying. So for me, those that know me know that I am a very honest person, sometimes too honest, and this brings some uncomfortability to some rooms. But this is what I believe, and when I believe in something, I just do it. And I think now it's up to you, just to answer the question.
Why I'm not saying in rent, right? This one.
Yes.
So this is quite easy question for me. It's I would say like currently InRento has a dream team, and I don't want to have a position for the sake of having a position. I see that I don't have any position where I could add value to current InRento team. As I said, it's like in my opinion, it has a dream team, and I just don't want them to interrupt, and so that's my answer.
Okay. Andrew, thank you for your support. It takes some time, to read the question or statement. So apologies for that. Gabriel is asking us, once all investors migrate to InRento, will there be a difference between former EvoEstate investors and the InRento investors? So for time being, yes, because what we are giving here today with this merger is we're giving the best terms anyone ever had. So when you give something best, I don't think that other offers or other situations will top the best offer we gave, because when we discuss, and also we discussed this merger question with Audrius, is that and we talked, it's like we are not giving this sort of an offer which is going to be semi-good, or someone would question, or it will be mediocre. We just said, look, let's just give something that these clients deserve. And that's why we when in the previous question, when someone asked like, will it be sustainable? Like, yes, it will be sustainable. Obviously, we could have said, look, we are going to cut this cashback in half, and now it's cheaper for us to have these clients. But this is not how we go. Those who have interacted with us or dealt with us, they know that if we offer like a good offer, this is usually the best thing we can offer for both of the parties. Dornik is asking us a question: what about business accounts? Will they also be transferred without extra effort from investor side? So yes, basically in this transition, this applies to all accounts. So basically European, non-European, business, private accounts. What we're striving to achieve here is that you don't have sort of any hassle during all this process. But because some of the clients that joined us have been our clients for some time, some of the information is a little bit out of date. So we always been updating this information, but there's a chance that, for example, we might need a document from you, or we might need something else from you. So we are not going to ask all of those documents, but we're just going to ask as minimum as possible, in order that this sort of transition doesn't require too much time from your side. Fam is asking, is a Telegram chat planned for InRento? So it's a good question, but I can't answer right now because it just hasn't been our priority. What we've been doing so far is that we've always communicated, with the investors, always very quickly. So even if you write, an email today, I'm confident that, it will be answered the same date. But when, I think about Telegram, I personally have some mixed feelings about it for the key reason is that, as when we have email, and this is a question I've also raised today, Telegram chat of EvoEstate, is that, we are always doing everything we can, and our team is doing everything we can as much as possible, and we always treat all our investors the same. So meaning if you had a problem or another investor has a problem, we will both problems seem important. But basically, when we have a Telegram, we cannot answer all the questions, or it brings distractions to our processes. And at the same time, it doesn't create too much value for the investor or himself by getting a half-answered question. But I still haven't decided yet. But as I think this is how I feel. So we will see in the long term. So Boyan's question has been already answered before. So I will please check the recording when we will upload it. And Juan, for time being, Juan is asking also the same question, whether InRento is going to offer non-InRento projects. So InRento is not going to offer non-InRento projects, at least for time being. So at least in short term, InRento is going to offer only InRento originated projects. And this one is repetitive. So again, if you want to find more detail, please check the recording and you will be able to find more information. And I think that's about it. I think this was our last question. So I would really like to say that I really appreciate you joining today. Appreciate you here asking us questions, and we hope that, at least I hope that, my answers were helpful for you, and we really care about your experience, and this is the least we could do for you. And we are planning to organize more as the time goes on with InRento. We plan to organize more webinars and sort of these ask me anything seminars where your questions or concerns could be addressed.
Thank you, Gustas.
Thank you. So wish you all have a nice evening. Thank you very much for joining.